United fans no see are well prepared for this game no. And so many trophy we say but before that game no, you made mention of the fact that there are certain figures that were out. Club World Cup prize money me who say $2 million per win, me who $1 million per win, me who $7.5 million, round of 13.12 million dollars quarterfinals, $21 million, $30 million, and then $40 million in total. So semi-finals, runners up, and then the champion. So in Comanche said, the Club World Cup, FIFA the buy every continental champion, Ojia, Okona Koso Hodenshe, continentally, one hour represent here, Okako Facey, we are for baby obi aso free ba. Now initially no na yet tournament in terms of finances, they place much premium on that so well. Yeah. Finances they need hard move bebresa. It was mainly for pride. You pay African champion, Mezembe neba. You pay South American champion, Santos neba. You pay European champion, Inter Milan neba. It was a championship played for pride. Sika 700 women no there. You dija kwana diako. But yeah, to tell me say. But yeah, global football na kwa drew after COVID moves and some football clubs are running here without having fans behind them, thereby reducing their revenues. You know, about the stage where Club World Cup clubs, you know, we need one game. Yeah, 3 points. You know, enough for. You must also amount $2 million.
You can apply an instant loan with flexible repayment plan and favorable interest rate. No collateral required, no office access required, no salary slip. You find an easy way to.
I'm Kwanya Sanche. Yeah, because I'm sure. Flights and pyramids from Egypt to Joburg.
About Saturday, so call Wednesday.
Okay, acclimatization. Okay, preparation ahead of the game. And they know, say, someone we need game we say, they know where it would propagate them. But yeah, na me dim komo say ya. Me pese ma twema dwene ba fie o. Because me nim komo we ensi wa bra me fama dwene ba fie. And me de ma dwene ba fie, me fama dwene ba fie because Ghana ye Madagascar bi na fe na sorry. Ghana Gabon bi na fe na sorry free football mu. Ghana is not a certain country bi a friend say Sao Tome and Principe. Ghana is Ghana. The first time now yes AFCON tournament on this continent, you know, Ghana, Sudan, Egypt, you call us out. So I am talking about 1957. Enchebia, EPL no yes, so we are yes 92-93 season. You called the early stage of the game, no. Oma real premiership. Why yes we started here? You bought elite premiership and you done here professional. Yo. We are also here, and a CAF introduced you the Confederations Cup at the buyer. The Confederations Cup, and then the Champions League in a level. No, more the second, more the third. Oh, Krumono, CAF. Who say? Obu through the season, no born homo dem pa. No, Kakotosu too, and so yeah, organize almost championship for Momo, and the Confederation Cup no. A PA House of Folk Kotoko were the first two clubs of the final, and Yakopon say Adom. Yebonu Kruma say the first ever maiden tournament. If you are called and Komono, ye discussing a full baby African game name Kosro Pana Nakotokana has for Komono at Yabachi. Now Mudina started feedi. We've said this many times, say football or Janet Singh will same boat. Football is Janet Singh Michael Johnson. If you don't follow the game leaves you behind there. So I am asking this morning, humbly, game no a jahas in a kotokohana. And they yes, so I bet to say the House of Folk at J Africa no 2009 2007 or more and I can represent Ghana or we need one gamer or be $2 million. Yeah, two na I know, but where are our clubs? So Yanjintum and Ama Yanjintum. How are we rekindling ourselves back into the game? What is going to be the revival course for our football? How do we get these two clubs back? Sporting wise, administrative wise, how do we get these two clubs back? In terms of recruitment, Aziz Ki, your best friend, younger for number 10 or young Africans. Raja for Nababe Fanamodeneko. Why that? Ababe Fa Aziz Ki. Edne ko Morocco. Edne ko akobo club World Cup ayedi hu komo yi. And ya wonim sika mu tua ye $1 million. They paid, why dad paid this money for Aziz Ki. Oh, I have the picture of the guy. Me need to picture of Julius Nyerere or Tanzania.
Yeah.
The guy is brilliant player. Why has the game left our 2 clubs back? They've left them behind us. And Osha Babia, Pyramid Ali, why dad more sometimes more bomb game no corner. There's no way coming out. Aziz Ki that team.
Pyramid squad me 2 monokwa na one TD na boy na. Omu na some way somehow about the national team of Egypt. Ebi ma bo agle mo. Ana ma ba bedro. So nye agro na bi mu dio. So we yes akwa na mani so kra ba ntu de yen koso. Why?
Arsenal, I agree. Said finally, they want to show the relevance that Thomas Partey hold your team. I mean, technically, Thomas is there. Tactically, I've said it. Thomas Partey is one of the best players at Arsenal was CCA. And yet, told to be a Thomas and about 2. No, I am talking about tactics. To be about 2, to be about 6. Game no me or coin the final third as the last attacker. Also, I want to go wrong or bury the caution angle. So me, my dream, no. My dream is set in Finfin. Declan is playing, but Thomas Partey is the most important player at Arsenal in Finfin. But it told to be no more Arsenal probably 11 na me call X. Eko who say Arsenal handles ni bi. Ene Arsenal related accounts ni bi. Omo Thomas Partey free mu de. Zubimendi ba be share Declan Rice ne. Martin Odegaard ncha. Ya na me raho pa. Why would you even dare? Martin Odegaard ahead of Thomas Partey. Say dear Odegaard here say Thomas Partey. Positionally yes about 10. Positionally Thomas Partey a CDM about 8. Out about 6. But I say a dear Thomas Partey the bread Arsenal on the table no. I was so see Odegaard. So one Jim to say where Arsenal fan Mate lose the guy and see. Etinena me who say oh Mikel Arteta ni panifo kan say be man no 2-year contract na che say no money ajepa for Arsenal for because we've said this many times. He's established the Wonfinfio. And the Akai the final time Marco striker be any a classical number 10. Just say me suit Ozil. Odegaard or another one number 10. But me who 10 credit define it. He's not a classical number 10. He doesn't dribble so much. He doesn't provide the chances. It was zero chances no create as a number 10 the Arsenal. And Odegaard a typical 4-3-3 has to have a number 10 behind a striker. Oh, you're a good distributor of the ball. In the Champions League at a top level, all of that Martin Odegaard or Irai. So, omo market no more player for fra. Zubimendi Mate, how do you condensed? Oh, yeah, rich, but yes, we meant to one. Declan makes me a ball, part me a ball. Me say Odegaard or here competition or 10 ho. Now Smith Roy. Almost at Thomas Partey interview, be say who is the most intelligent player at Arsenal? Me so be bought Declan and now be bought before. I say Smith Rowe.
I don't know Mujana Quano.
Mo. And now Busan say how? I say oh no. Ask yourself why he wears the number 10 JC. Arsenal Jaga in a coin. So who is creating for these strikers? Now when the striker won't say any number 10 or create. Arsenal team no solid in defense, solid in midfield. Diaka the final third. Now me busa Arsenal say man pray now we story catch say ADL Aurelio Di Laurenti Wama Antonio Conte 200
Conte also be stay. This one 200 million euros.
So you Napoli
for transfers and for 8 to 9 players. And some pager on wage bill from 80 million to 110 million euros a year.
Wage bill no hono. O person actually say more
obe demanding.
Now the community say busa ho dey Conte why dey man Napoli for to demand this. To even put these demands on the table, they are Conte I am person who want to crow.
Juve pen.
E be me refi me ho.
I'm on Champions League no so.
Me cast the authority he has.
Okay.
The authority he has. Look, yeah, before you have the authority, you need to win. Then why win your Napoli for? People want to bet me a case pay way. And a slot back a car you bet back a pay way. Hans Flick the way you bet back a pay way. Then a conta your Napoli for. Ya me person metia say wa. Be a refia for me. But look at the confidence and the tenacity of the Busa Sikasa. Me pay 208 to 9 players. But Mikel Arteta and Kokasi we say so mona. Mikel and Kokasi so mona. That is why I was telling you say club will be on a policy. And it's what you do so many Arsenal chia. You do say club na wono mo budget e kakra bi. Na mo didi kese won kra no ho any players are fe no mu fefeba no man yire mo baby then you poach all those guys and intimi kofa Henry by after say on ho kire no struggle with Juventus and Henry baba ye adwuma no kofa Dennis Bergkamp brought all those players and they did their job Currently, Arsenal can't match Bayern. Na Madrid no crown tia din high since kana sope. You want Arsenal to pick this money. So, culturally, Arsenal nya club obetimi akasa of sika kesefo no. But me the content dey na toto ho say. O kasa of ififunu ne ya. Enka babu say dey adwuma and why ya o deserve say ko benya authority. But that is what the game is. And when he says we are improving the squad no a league we are be want to mean and of course Juve forces open. My last pick Ube my story say Lamine entourage and say Lamine and Nimbo boss Barcelona. The most important player and say man my highest paid player. They are
send the BC.
Bibi to say BC.
Say Bibia we ask Bibia to Messi. And that's one that I say Leo Messi beko.
Look, entourage no omuku players no. Entourage for no muku players no. What I will tell Lamine ne entourage and say they are dealing with one of the most politically spoiled clubs in the world. Tia some na mekani politically spoiled clubs in the world. One of them and only deal is say no. Say a say where you fufu, but the young kind of domu say a tuntum near Yaman tuntum. Basanemi pa. Until I mean when you're very careful. Me, I've come to tell you, say next season the responsibility is number Dawson. Nemum, so Baba catch a club like Barca say, Lamine or one highest paid player, and Sinaway.
35 to 40 million euros a season.
Omo na emu akra no, do omo ye no monto mboase. Amonto mboase. Barca, Madrid, Bayern.
So me ba age 17.
Yeah.
Young can your man boy na here. But Lewandowski 26 million euros a season. De Jong 23 million euros a season down to 16 million. And you gross.
Yeah.
You turn on the 8 million you coffee. Or is a bit more than that, and I said no.
For now, they no. Yeah, no. If you say,
what do you feel, Neka? And it's all because I'm called boss. I boy, Mamu.
Board there, or I'm a Barca for. I'm on a contract, Papa. He is still in the justify phase. Lami, he is still in the justify phase. Hey, he is still in the justify phase. Because look, somebody to Raja. Look,
I said this guy almost was 17. But born in the 17 or but it do so because Obeda is Tanya inform me the Ben last week say. Omojitum say negotiation the kaya some years back now and a woo
the buyout clause
and memory 1 billion euros buyout clause.
Say same come here or 17 years. I want to talk this way.
And I'm saying the buyout clause.
It's only buyout. It's still on Drew professional.
Or the Shema 18 or the Shema. Lamine so Benya 18 and say
on Drew 18 on your professional.
And I say Obenya 18 July
yeah.
More extend there 1 billion euros the buyout.
And I make you say say ya metis Wontumi hai. Lamine buyout I say and I'm saying on Drew professional.
You also can no. The obey abra we do professional now me boy.
Like me, on this kind of
forget about the age and focus on the performance. Still, that's a boss was here do Sicali. What guys after I was 70? I send away you support number.
Yes,
for Manchester game.
Your City game,
what boy we are now. Oh, and I mean, come Mike Moore. My member Mike Moore now.
That topic, City, United game.
Yes, Europe and Ebeshim Pie. You will use tactical board later. After say Michael as I board with Steve One, Imatu for Abamo. Mike, my member.
Both teams to lose. Football, then you both teams lose, but all the same, the greater good of it. Now, your story about Iglitari. Say Oba the new sporting director for AC Milan. And come away, you do have a break. Say Milan can never build without having or more take decisions, or more taking the right decisions to help the club. When they won the Scudetto under Stefano Pioli, Ivan Gazidis, Massara, and then Maldini. Maldini as an institution of Milan, the good old days under Silvio Berlusconi. No, watch our club name right from the 80s until all kissed the game goodbye. It's not Milan, I say. Then Massara And the Gazettes, what they brought on board was top-level sports or football administration. So Masara will help Martini. They will recruit the best of players. At that time, Milan and top established players. They were buying potentials and they developed them and they made them world beaters contest. Omoko Fatio Hernandez by no idea.
No, bro.
No idea. He hadn't done anything.
Milan, okay.
Milan never polished any sir. Rafael Leao. He was just a young kid who had transferred from Sporting CP and the call France. Then eventually the transfer to Milan. Obayeno, he wasn't the player he is now. So Milan have won. Not necessarily because they signed established players, but because they got their recruitment right. Players who had commitment, zeal, and then the hunger to succeed. Theo Hernandez needed to prove a point. And the Mikume ho, Nama ye Jumano. Leao needed to prove a point. Mikume ho, Frankesi, Omoko from Atlanta in the bar. He wasn't as established as that. But Frankesi Ebebremo, he was able to do a job. And eventually, Obama Milan to me at the Omoye, Gigidonaruma, I remember all those who on your man title. No? By the time they promoted him, he was just a young kid who was looking for opportunities to cement himself in the Milan team and then eventually in the Italian national team. But Milan assemble Sankoda we muninano ediomuye bibi. What does it tell? If you get the recruitment right, recruitment and your player we M.Newton established the mindset, Newton the character is saying, is he willing to come and commit to the cause? And in recent times, players are signing no, ebia mienu pe na maka so mo sa passion no. Tejani Reinders and maybe Christian Pulisic. Their head seems not to be at Milan. And I think with the appointment of Iglitare, it will solve a lot of these issues they've had with recruitment. Okay. So they are all capturing the story and they are telling the story. Simple. They are watching here Las Volta del Diavolo, the turning point for the devil. What's the Milan nickname here? The devil. Good. So 2 images in Edaso. Iglitare. Then there is Vincenzo Italiano. No, Macheda Milan we nation in sim. When Tari comes on board, the biggest decision he has to make regarding who becomes the next coach of AC Milan. Tari Nimsadene, yes, he has 15 years experience as sporting director for Lazio. So obetimene Claudio Lotito, I Juma for 2 years of crying the why. But 15 years. Which is a decade and a half combined. And not Lazio. They won the Coppa Italia 3 times. Supercoppa Italiana, they won several. There were certain critical decisions he made in that 15-year spell now. It brought Lazio a lot of success. Chief amongst them was a decision to have faith in an unknown manager like Simone Inzaghi. No more building na mani pejai and Simone Inzaghi or Yamal Inter Milan, but it started at Lazio, and Tare played a crucial part in that. Nanka Lazio for no person is Mihailovic. Well, no, Mihailovic trust or Bobo Nikakrama Lazio. Then Omuchaso, Omunka, when free Albania. Then the Albanians have their own storyline that they sell, especially Omesia Serbia for any other ina, and Tokwani Weinti. They have several issues amongst them. Into an Mihailovic or Monka. I said, Mihailovic in Hiano. I know I'm trying to cry that. Here I'm fan. Lotito wanted Mihailovic. Where is David Mempeno? Eventually they will go on and then look at the manager Simone Inzaghi has become. So he is known to take bold decisions which eventually pays off. Akwayo Obeje a top scorer and they Okopio Mobeshektas. Chiro Immobile. He's responsible for recruiting him. Okay, bra, so he's noted for transfers which are also not so common. Rare. Oh, Newton, I will tap into you, I will make you good. Marusic, a lot of storylines to portray this. So this is the man that Milan needs. Moncada, you good, but Moncada good or you need scouting. That is how he's able to scout for players like Thomas Lemar.